members receive people announcements and invitations. 95 of them have registered with us, giving us information about their profession and email information. 67 of them are professionals, 28 are trainees, meaning that they might have a degree, but they're in training, they're continuing pursuing training. People that frequent the website come predominantly from the United States, 35% of them, from Argentina, 18% from Puerto Rico, also Peru, Mexico, Spain, Colombia, Ecuador, Nicaragua, and Chile. These are the most predominantly countries, red countries of the people that join or go to the website. Then talking a little bit about the webinars. So as I mentioned before, we have a YouTube channel with where we stream live the first Friday of every month. We stream a presentation presented by a well-known cancer researcher, clinician, or specialist in psycho-oncology research. And I'm trying to open our YouTube channel. Okay. If you want to visit our YouTube channel, you can Google People Latino and in YouTube, and then you will be able to access. It's not letting me to access the channel now. So the audience of the YouTube channel, it comes predominantly from Peru, United States, Argentina, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Spain, Panama, Colombia, Ecuador, and the Dominican Republic. It has had 1,467 views in total, our webinars, and we have 79 subscriptions in YouTube, in the YouTube channel. These are the examples of the different webinars that we have held. The first one, as I mentioned before, was presented by Maria de Tril, and she talked about death as an important and necessary element in life. Then we have Dr. Francisco Gil from the Catalan Cancer Institute at Spain present about mixed-center psychotherapy, compassionate people. On November, we had Professor Maria Fernanda Montaña and Dr. Mariana Murias talk about a multidisciplinary approach to pain management. They're from Argentina. And then December 2017, we had the group from Mexico present about psycho-oncology intervention with patients of hereditary cancer. This was presented by Dr. Oscar Galindo from Mexico. In January, we have this presentation presented by myself, by me, and I talked about cancer and poverty from the United States. We had Dr. Ada Castro present about the development of the program in psycho-oncology in the south of Puerto Rico. This was presented on February 2018. On March, we had Professor Maria Lourdes Ruda talk about the experience of illness and life project in cancer patients. Professor Ruda is from the Catholic University of Peru. On April, we have a colleague from Mexico present about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy for depression and anxiety in cancer patients. Again, from Puerto Rico, we had Dr. Guillermo Bernal present about cultural adaptations of interventions, of evidence-based interventions. Then we had Dr. Victoria Blinder from MSKCC from Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, talking about cancer finances and work outcomes in breast cancer survivors. and we have Dr. Ashim Wiga, and this was the first time that we had interpretation for one of our webinars, which was challenging at the beginning, but now we think that we have this down to a science, offering interpretation for this kind of webinars. And Dr. Ashim Wiga works at the City of Hope in California, and she has done a lot of work with the Latino, African American, and Chinese population in California. We had Dr. Oscar Galindo present about CBT for patients with testicular cancer. And our first biologist present about stress, cancer progression linked to stress. Stress, the best friend of cancer. Yeah, Dr. Guillermo Armaiz is from the Consejo of Sciences University in Puerto Rico. Our latest seminar was presented by Dr. Roberto Silva, which is a psychiatrist from Argentina, a very prominent psychiatrist from Argentina, and that 105 views. I haven't been talking about the views, but as you can see, there's some range of views per webinar. And the beautiful thing about the webinar is because it's streamed online, but they get recorded in the YouTube channel, so people can access and watch those webinars in their own time at their convenience. And of course, they're free. They're available through Google, through YouTube. Future presenters that we have that have agreed to present for people are Patty Parker, who is the director of the communication skills at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and she speaks Spanish. Dr. Xiomara Rocha, a psychiatrist at Memorial as well, who is from, her background is from Nicaragua, and she also speaks Spanish. And Megan Shen, and we're going to have interpretation for her presentation. So this is a communication strategy for using interpretation for people, because that's one of the most frequent questions. I mean, it's so challenging to work with people from different countries, and how do you use interpretation, and how you can bring, access that barrier. Well, basically, we all are Spanish-speaking colleagues, so we don't have that barrier to be, as a challenge. But now that we're trying to access and invite more people, I mean, the communication barrier, it's more prominent. So what we are going to be doing is to pre-record the presentations, to use voiceover for the interpretation, and then we're going to have the presenter live with us to answer the Q&A question, and we're going to be offering live interpretation for that segment of the webinar. As I said before, this is a collaboration that have produced a couple of things: the website, the webinars. Also, we have a line of research that we're working on. Our teams are different teams from Argentina, Peru, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. We're also adapting an intervention called mini-center psychotherapy, and I had a presentation about that on Wednesday. And we're planning to adapt that intervention for the specific context of these different countries. So these are examples of research collaborations that have emerged through FIPO, through our network. Also another examples of collaborations and things that have developed through FIPO are observerships. And I have some information about observerships that can be done at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. You can take one of the documents that explain the observership opportunities at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Also, opportunities of presentations in different conferences have been other opportunities that have emerged through the FIPO network. And we're extending our network. We want to establish more collaborations with people from the region, from Latin America, from Spain, who are interested in developing these kind of collaborations, research collaboration, training collaborations, and participate in our monthly webinar. As I said before, our monthly webinar, it's a webinar all the committee members and the groups, they join the conference using video conference technology supported by Google Hangouts. So we're all participating in the video conference, and we get to make the webinar very interactive, because at the end of the presentation we get to ask questions to the presenter. Only the hubs have access to the online webinar, but we also send the YouTube link to our audience at large, to the close to 600 members that receive the FIPOL announcements. So it's a very interesting kind of setup to develop this kind of webinars and information sharing kind of opportunities. Some of the lessons that we have learned is that this requires a collaborative partnership, everyone coming to the table and bringing their own expertise. As you can see, there's a wide range of presenters from different countries that have presented for people. That means that I'm not the one inviting everyone. I mean, every single committee member is inviting people that have expertise in this area from their own countries. And they extend their invitations and they invite these presenters, and we all have ideas about other people that we want to invite to present for people. We need to extend our network because there are many topics, many areas that we want to explore. An example of that was the biology of cancer, and it was very important for us to have a little more minds, but there's so many areas that we want to explore and to present. We need a lot of support because it's a lot of work, and the work of the coordinators have been amazing, and for that we also need, that's something that I think that we need funding support, to have a coordinator funded to do this kind of work. Also because we have other ideas that we want to develop. We want to develop research collaborations, we want to develop papers, we want to document our efforts, and for that obviously it takes time and takes we need more coordination in that area. We need to stay relevant because, as you can see in our presentations, we come from different cultures, different countries, but our institutions have different cultures as well. I mean, our medical systems are very different. Our needs are very different. Our priorities are also different. Not only in the area of psycho-oncology, but also, I mean, their priorities in terms of clinical versus research versus teaching, and those priorities need to be relevant for our network, and we need to attend to all these needs that our community have. We need interpretation to connect with other colleagues and to really access other people who are doing important work in the field of psycho-oncology. Technological support is always needed. I have to admit that it has been able to happen because of the support of my husband, who is very technological savvy. But we need technological support to develop this kind of programs. And also the visual impact needs to be attended to, because people relies on technology, relies on communication, visual communication, so it's very important for us to also develop things that are visually appealing and for our audience, because we are sharing information, we have to really, grab the attention of the reader, of our community members. This is an example of the infographic that we have developed for people. It includes brief information about the website, then the people who are accessing the website, the countries. It's too bad that I can't enlarge the infographic, but this is received by email, so it's in good size when you get it by email. It has information about the people, the audience of the website, the audience of the webinars, the YouTube webinars, and a sample of different webinars and topics that we have addressed to the people network. And also a question that I commonly receive is how do you reach your audience? How have you been able to identify your audience? First, there's some amazing people who have identified me. For example, Fernanda was one of the first people that really connected with me. And Ada also connected with me through her amazing mentee, Dr. Nomari Torres, and we first connected that way. But other people we have identified through other mediums. And one of the, in my own program of research, the Post-Adaptation Mini-Center Psychotherapy, one of the first aims of that program of research was to identify a network to create a database of providers who can really inform the adaptation of that intervention. So by developing that data set, that database of providers that provide services in Spanish, I was able to use that resource to really identify people that and reach, providers. How did I create that database? Simply, there was 3 ways to identify providers. First, providers that were linked to an academic or hospital or cancer institution, so we just emailed them. The second way of identifying providers was through the IPOS or through the IPOS listserv. Another way to identify providers was by searching for the Red Alif and Cielo research, similar to PubMed but for Spanish, to identify who was publishing in the area of psycho-oncology and simply emailing those people and those experts. Also, we have been able to identify more people through our own networks. Bill Breitbart is very active in LinkedIn, and he's always referring people from Latin America who are willing to connect with us. And also reaching other established investigators that also work with the Latino community that can also, reach and introduce potential collaborators. And this is an example of an announcement that the audience received. Usually after the FreeBall logo, there's a picture of the next presenter. So these announcements, our audience received this announcement 1 week in advance, 2 weeks in advance, and then 1 week in advance, and then 1 day in advance before the webinar. So some achievements, we worked on a collaborative white paper about the status of psycho-oncology in Latin America, which is under review. We are presenting this symposium. We consider that an achievement. We have held international observerships at MSPCC. This has been co-hosted by me and Dr. Xiomara Rocha. And we have had also international presentations about the work that we do. Future directions, we are in the process of conducting an international survey with Latin American experts. We are also developing a special panel on the impact of Hurricane Maria on health outcomes and cancer care delivery in Puerto Rico. The impact in Puerto Rico, but we're going to be hosting that seminar in MSPCC in New York. We're in the process of securing funding, and we are actively looking for that. And we are trying to reach more Latin American collaborators, colleagues, and more US-based colleagues. These are my acknowledgements. This work wouldn't be able to, I am able to continue this work basically because of the support of my amazing mentor, who is in this audience, Francesca Gani, the chief of the Immigrant Health and Cancer Disparity Service, and also the support of the chair of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences, and the collaboration of my colleagues in the service, Javier Gonzalez, Dr. Xiomara Rocha, and the coordinators of people, and of course my collaborators from Ponce, Puerto Rico, from Mexico, Dr. Oscar Galindo from Ponce, Puerto Rico, Dr. Aida Castro, and Normari Torres, from the Argentinian hospital, British and German hospitals, Professor Fernanda Montaña, and from the Institute of Neoplastic Illnesses, Professor Jose Carlos Sanchez and Professor Giovanna Galarza. Thank you so much for your attention, and now it's time for some Q&A, questions and answers.